rates lower than the current 3/4 meter size, which is $58.20. That's $5,820 versus $9,700 for the 1-inch meter, if SEAC wishes to consider changing the rates. Staff recommends using the current rate of $58.20 for both the 3/4 and 1-inch to alleviate confusion, as both are our most common size used. Any further recommendation than that is not recommended by staff. That's it.
And we have no public comments. So there were multiple concerns about this, but nobody's here to speak on that. So my position is this: we went through this process last year. There were multiple meetings to talk about this. We had a committee. We had an opportunity for the public to speak on it. We had an opportunity for Oakwood Shores property owners to speak on it. And we ultimately adopted these rates. It is not fair. So the city has invested over $8.5 million in Oakwood Shores for road improvements and other various improvements. And I don't think it's fair that the taxpayers in the rest of the city are on the hook even further now, when the growth is going to be contributing to the need for expansion in water and sewer treatment, right? So my position is we do nothing.
Okay.
I'm pretty much in agreement with Amanda on it. I mean, we've gone through the process of it. We did our due diligence, and we did everything and gave everyone the opportunity to make their voices heard. Again, that's Amanda pretty much summed it up. There's not a whole lot more I can say on it. I think we should just keep it as is. It's short and sweet at that.
It's just the future building.
Correct.
Correct.
Anything new.
People that
Anything
are
new.
younger.
Correct.
You know,
And how much is it?
Right now, what we're looking at right now is the current impact fee for a 1-inch meter in all of the city, not just Oakwood Shores, is $9,700. And out of that $9,700, that amount is set aside in a restricted account for anything, any future development for water wells, water storage, and so on. There's also an associated wastewater fee, but all of Oakwood Shores is on septic, so they don't pay the additional fee. But if you were connected, even within, outside of Oakwood Shores, you would also have a $9,700 impact fee for wastewater, because your increased water usage would increase your sewer usage as well. So what we're trying to do is recover that cost, i.e. the impact fee, not we, but the impact fee recovers those costs ahead of time, so it further reduces the tax burden on all of Richwood at that time. So I believe the previous fee prior to the study, this was all done by an engineer, and what they do is they figure out your projected growth over, I believe a 10-year period. They figure out what growth is looked at down the road, what we're going to need down the road. The old 1-inch water meter was $6,848, and the new fee is $9,700. So it increased during it. But as Amanda said, we went through SEAC. We took the reports from the engineer. We looked at the land use assumptions. We looked at all of the data, and that's the number they came up with to adequately meet our goals in the future, provided the growth is there. It doesn't change at that point. So hopefully that helps.
The only reason I brought this to Eric's attention is we had a 3/4 line installed at our house. If I would have known those fees were what they were, we couldn't live in Richwood. So I want to make it more affordable to attract people. But yes, I didn't catch that. So it was a good idea that we redid this last year, and this is how we're moving forward. So this is the only reason I brought it back to Eric's attention.
The other thing I thought about too was, you know, granted, we're charging a $9,000 fee, and I understand the cost behind it, and, you know, stuff like that, but you're getting water service from the city there that maintains that water service. Had that service not been there, you have to put a well in, and I guarantee you a well's gonna cost more than $9,000 to get your water. So, I mean, it's, that was my thought on it. Yeah, I mean, that's why I looked at it like, you know,
in the study that was done, we considered all things at that time, and one of the interesting charts and graphs they have is the impact fees from across the state. And it varies anywhere from $35,000 to several $100s, depends on where you live. And so my guess is, you know, based on our age of our infrastructure, the immediacy or the need that TCEQ requires per connection, I believe we're just above the mid-grade point in the study compared to with everybody else.
Yeah.
So we're just above about the halfway point in comparative studies. And like I said, you know, being a realist, you know, over in the Austin area, you're going to pay $35,000 for an impact fee. So, you know, yes, it's a lot of money, but so is a new water well, so is a new water storage tank, so is the infrastructure to keep it up and running. And like I said, we had, you know, discussed this with several council members, and this was brought up many times when we built the new North Water plant. And we stressed that new North Water plant got us to zero, not above zero. And I think that's very important to understand, is that we're now even. We're not ahead. And I see Matt shaking his head because he was on council then, Mike shaking his head. So, you know, comparatively, I don't believe it's always fair to equate yourself with another community, because all of our needs are different, our infrastructure is different, the age of our infrastructure is different. This is just where we found it to fit to keep our head above water.
Well, I think another thing to think of too is you just mentioned it about being fair. I mean, we all know that, you know, life isn't fair sometimes. You know, it's not fair. There's stuff that happens at work or this or that. Amanda, put it in perspective what you said. You know, second what Jeremy said too. You know, I didn't look at it like that, because when I saw this, you know, I tried to pull that thing up and look at it, and of course there was a bunch of information to digest and chew, for real. Mm-hmm. And I mean, if you know, and I was thinking different about it too. I was like, man, $9,000 is a lot of money. But you know, thank you for, you know, sharing the way you just did. And,
Welcome.
I think another way to look at it too is, that's a one-time fee. There are many other subdivisions. You can go just up north into Manville, in that area where they're building all those homes in those subdivisions. They add on like a tax that you're gonna have every year, reoccurring. Mm-hmm. So as your home value goes up, you're gonna keep paying more in there, because that's how they recoup the money or whatever to continue the infrastructure and stuff like that. So you can, not to sound bad, but yeah, it could be worse. Kind of, you know.
Anyone wish to make a motion?
To adjourn?
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Let the record reflect, the motion carries. Okay, the time is now 6:16, and our first meeting is adjourned.
Thank you very much for coming.
Don't shine that.
so good.
Thank you, Dina.
Call in the relief.
wish we did.
Start anytime,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, I
Just
started
based
it.
off two times
I
running,
under budgeted the
whatever.
time.
Okay.
And then again, this is all.
Oh, we're doing it 3 times that.
I mean, very fair. We have to wait 5 minutes.
No,
I did 6:15.
6:15.
Okay.
We're good.
You ready to rock and roll?
I, would rather under budgeted than over budgeted.
All right,
Definitely.
Matt's here. All right, the time is now 6:17, and we will call our regular scheduled meeting to order. Let the record reflect, Councilmember Challenger and Pearson are absent again. Moving on to proclamation. A,
Public comment.
oh, do we have any public comments, Chief? I apologize, I got ahead of myself.
No, you're good. We just highlighted it.
A is Police Week Proclamation, May 11th through the 17th, 2025. Okay, I, Michael Durham, by virtue of the authority vested in me as mayor of the city of Richwood, Texas, do hereby proclaim May 11th through the 17th, 2025, Police Week in the city of Richwood, and urge each and every citizen to honor the Richwood police officers for their dedicated services to the city of Richwood. Whereas in 1962, President Kennedy proclaimed May 15th as National Peace Officers Memorial Day and the calendar week in which May 15 falls as National Police Week. And whereas the members of law enforcement agency of the city of Richwood play an important role in safeguarding the rights and freedoms of the citizens of our community. And whereas it is important that all citizens know and understand the problems, duties, and responsibilities of their police department, and the members of our department recognize their duty to serve the people by safeguarding life and property, protecting them against violence or disorder, and protecting them, the innocent, against deception, and the weak against oppression and intimidation. And whereas our Richwood Police Department has grown to be a modern and scientific law enforcement agency of 10 sworn officers who unceasingly provide a vital public service. Therefore, we, the mayor and the city council of City of Richwood, do hereby proclaim May 11th through the 17th, 2025 as Police Week in the city of Richwood, and urge our citizens to join in commemorating law enforcement officers, past and present, who by their faith and loyal devotion to their communities have established for themselves the rights and security of all citizens. In testimony whereof witness my hand and seal of the city of Richwood this 12th day of May, AD 2025. Thank you, Chief. Okay, moving on to recognitions. A, recognition of outgoing council members. Mike Challenger, position 2, 2023 to 2025. He's absent today, but we have a plaque for him upon his convenience to come pick it up. Okay. Moving on to canvass the results of May 3rd, 2025 election. Discuss and consider ordinance 25-528, canvassing the election returns and declaring the results of May 3rd, 2025 election.
So, this ordinance encompasses the 3 council positions plus the 3 propositions that were proposed. All 3 passed. And, incumbents, of course, won, and then Mike Johnson, won the seat position 2. So just need a motion to adopt ordinance.
Yeah, I'll make a
Oh,
motion.
there's no fancy
Oh,
language.
no, yeah, I was
No.
gonna,
Okay,
I was wondering the same thing.
yeah.
Not on this one.
Okay.
Usually they're long.
It's just
I'll
the
make a
tax lady
motion
that
to
gets
approve ordinance 25-528, canvassing the election returns and declaring the results of the May 3rd, 2025 election.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Let the record reflect the motion carries.
All right.
Okay. Now we move on to swearing council members. Who should we start with?
You're
Mayor.
first on the list.
Mayor first.
And then let's get in front of the podium where the camera is.
Okay.
No. And then
So I asked you all the way. So sit in the corner.
It's your turn.
I was gonna say something smart, but I'm not gonna embarrass you like that. All right, would you raise your right hand to be sworn? I state your name,
Michael Durham,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will faithfully execute the duties
that I will faithfully execute the duties
of the office of the mayor of the city of Richwood
as the office of the mayor of Ridgewood,
and of the state of Texas,
of the state of Texas,
and will to the best of my ability
and will to the best of my ability
preserve, protect, and defend
preserve, protect, and defend
the Richwood City Charter
the Ridgewood City Charter
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
and the laws of the United States
and the laws of the United States
and of this great state.
and of this great state,
So help me God.
so help me God.
May I get a picture?
Hold on, one more handshake there.
Oh, go ahead.
There we go.
Here's your, you can hold that and take a photo too.
No, I'm gonna charge for this one.
I would. He's got money now, he's the mayor.
All those zeros.
All those zeros.
Tell me where it is.
You don't just need the one.
Well, hey, we'll talk later, because it's been a lot of
write it at
money
the bottom.
missed out on over the years.
Please tell me.
Yes, sir.
You'll be all right.
You've already been replaced, man.
I'm not letting him climb back there.
I started.
Okay.
Good job.
I'm not the parent.
Good job.
here is aware of the background.
She
Budget
is-
approved.
Budget approved.
We adjourned?
Isn't that awesome?
Come here, Gibson.
Give him
Okay.
Meeting's adjourned. It's over.
I know when he wants to get ahead of himself. Hey, put your stick down.
Your turn,
Come on.
Mike, right?
You too, yes,
Yeah.
he went home for
We'll
photos.
do a group picture.
Let me get clear real quick.
Oh, you're fine.
I gotta pay for pictures.
No more, I'm out, Your Honor.
Perfect smiles. 1, 2, 8.
Position two. I know, I had to,
Family.
while we have it, we're just gonna make it work.
Oh, you already got your right hand raised, look, you're ahead of the mayor on that. I state your name,
I, Mike Johnson,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
or affirm
or affirm
that I will faithfully execute
that I will faithfully execute
the duties of the office of city council position 2,
the duties of
office of city council
Office
position
of
2.
City Council Position 2
I got a little ahead of myself on that one. Of the city of Richwood,
of the City of Ridgewood,
of the state of Texas,
of the State of Texas,
and will to the best of my ability
and will to the best of my ability
preserve,
preserve,
protect,
protect,
and defend
and defend
the Richwood City Charter
the Ridgewood City Charter
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
and the laws of the United States
and the laws of the United States
and of this great state.
and of this great state.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. I feel popular today.
For once. We charge by the picture.
Okay. Well, I don't want to cost the taxpayers
Check,
anything.
oh, that's for you, Pete.
Yeah, these iPhone pictures are expensive.
on that.
I know.
They're expensive.
There's your storage.
Yes.
Until Mikey brings his back, but it has a lot.
Thank you. Congrats.
Thank you for coming back.
Yes, sir.
Oh, you want to sit out here anymore? Nope.
You didn't even sit for a full one.
Remember where you came from.
Yeah, let's sit next to it.
Yeah, you didn't tell Stallberg, cool switch?
Do you want to get,
Hey, I think compared to my, all people are little people, are they not? I'm just saying.
State your name.
I am Ed Reynolds,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
or affirm
or affirm
that I will faithfully execute
that I will faithfully execute
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
of City Council Position 3
of City Council Position 3
of the City of Richwood
of the City of Richwood
and of the State of Texas,
and of the State of Texas,
and will to the best of my ability
and will to the best of my ability
preserve, protect, and defend
preserve, protect, and defend
the Richwood City Charter
the Richwood City Charter
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
and the laws of the United States
and the laws of the United States
and of this great state.
and of this great state.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
One more. There we go.
I'll send you the photo composition later, because that wouldn't play out. He cut it off joints and everything else.
So, thumbing it back and forth, it's a little sketchy.
Yeah, you're not doing like that commercial where you turn the percussive turn into your series. When you count, don't count, you take that.
I'm gonna send all the improvement.
There you go.
Have a shark in there.
No, wipe that all.
Welcome back.
Thank you, thank you. So that fire ant stuff's working?
It is. It actually is. We used to have horrible, they were so bad they kept getting into our house.
Yeah.
And I don't even see ants like outside anymore.
Definitely.
How much did it cost?
$150.
A month or one time?
No, they come.
There's only-
and
he's
you
only
call
allowed
them
3
when you
terms,
want them to
Judge,
come
so
back. They
he's
put
got
us
more.
like on a quarterly schedule, but
He turns
you
out
can
next
adjust
time.
it to however frequent you want it to be.
Give him a call.
I said, you only
It's
need to do
great.
this one more time. 'cause you
And I
turn
like
out
it
after the next
because I don't have to worry about my dogs getting into anything or my chickens or it's just it's an IGR. So, something growth regulator, so it sterilizes the queens. So they just naturally die off.
Trish, how much extra were group photos? It's a considerable amount.
You used to charge more for sittings if it was over 6 people.
What was that fee amount? $9,763, something like that.
3/4 inch.
Oh, one more. Good picture, good picture.
Photos are cheap, it's the editing they take.
Good to see you, good to see you.
Yeah, with that face, there's a lot of editing. Fix the hair hole and everything else. You got one. Take the grays out.
Alright, down to business.
Okay, everybody got sworn in. Cross all that out. Moving on to our consent agenda. A, budget report, March 2024. B, approval of minutes from regular meeting held April 14th, 2025.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Let the record reflect the motion carries. Okay, moving on, discussion action items. Discuss and consider appointment mayor pro tem and committee liaison position. 1, mayor pro tem. 2, crime control and prevention district. 3, keep Richwood beautiful. And 4, fire department.
Sorry, I'm trying to pull up my memo so I can
I'll stay with KRB if nobody else will.
get my ducks.
Did you want me to read them all that quick?
No, you don't have to. I just wanted, so we kind of went out of the norm of just going down the line for Mayor Pro Tem. Amanda did it last round. Welcome to do it again if you want to do it or if they want you to do it. Just know that with the new charter propositions, should a vacancy occur in the mayor's position, the Mayor Pro Tem will serve the remainder of that term and City Council will follow the appointment procedures for the newly vacant council position. So I just want to keep that in mind. So we need Jeremy for Caribbean.
Yeah, I'll keep doing that.
Will was with CCPD? Was Will CCPD?
I think so, huh?
Okay. And we can volunteer him to do it, since he's not here. If anybody else wants it. And then we need Sonny for the fire department. And a motion of that.
That's a big one.
Yeah. I don't mind staying with Mayor Pro Tem, but that's up to the rest of y'all.
No, you did a good job.
I did nothing, but thank you.
No one beats Matt Yarborough at Mayor Pro Tem, just.
Still holds the record.
He has the record. Fastest meeting.
Yes.
Telling you.
You can run next year.
Whoa, whoa.
Okay. Jeremy, Kirby. Amanda. So you want to rock, paper, scissors?
Rock, paper, scissors.
Well,
Who,
CCPD.
fire?
That's what we're
Fire
discussing.
between
We need
these two,
For
yeah.
fire.
They're fighting for it right
If you
now.
wanna do it, I'll do it.
Yeah, go for it.
I'll do it.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
You gotta get somebody else for BWA.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
we already are on that.
Working on it.
Thanks for
Matt?
You get Steve?
that, Matt.
Matt? It's easy.
Okay, so I just need a motion to,
I saw a shoulder hunch. That's a maybe.
Big maybe. Need a
move it
motion?
off of here. I do need a motion.
oh,
I have it down here if you want to read who,
okay.
motion to appoint.
KRB.
I'll make a motion to appoint Jeremy Fountain for the KRB liaison, Amanda Reynolds as Mayor Pro Tem, Will Yerson as CCPD liaison, Mike Johnson as Volunteer Fire Department liaison, and that is it.
I will second that one.
All in favor?
Aye.
Let the record reflect, the motion carries. Thank you, everybody. B, discuss and consider awarding a contract for Cypress Drive and Misty Court reconstruction to Matula and Matula for an amount not to exceed $638,500.
So council, this is an approved item in the budget this year. We've gone through the process and bids are in. We had 2 submittals with Matula, and Matula being the apparent low bidder. The full amount budgeted was $700,000, with engineering at $61,500. The remainder is $638,500. We're requesting that primarily to combat a chance if there's any change orders in the construction project. If there are, it will allow us not to stop the complete project to come back to ask for additional funding. So this amount does not exceed what council approved for this project.
In the budget already.
Correct.
Yeah. Matula, they're just recently or currently doing something else for us, right?
They're doing the Midmont project.
Yeah,
Yes,
and
ma'am.
how's that going? Well,
It's going well. We've done a lot of work with them in the past. They're a
right.
solid
I remember
contractor.
their name. I'm just making sure that we're still seeing good productivity and none
Yeah,
of
we
those issues. Okay.
I was trying to go back. Just want to make sure we're covered on the cost. I thought I saw something on the weekly update about one of these things where it costs more and now it's less or something. Was that something else?
That's on
That's
the
the next item.
next item.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
Sorry.
I'll make a motion to award the contract for Cypress Drive and Misty Court reconstruction to Matula and Matula for an amount not to exceed $638,500.
I'll second that one.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Let the record reflect, the motion carries. Discussion and action item C, discuss and consider approving results 2025 R96, committing local funds to the Community Development Block Grant project through Missouri County Housing and Urban Development for the 2024 Cedar Street Water Main Replacement Project.
So council, this is in regard to that project, which was finishing water mains on Cedar Street. Due to rising costs of goods and services and decreases in funding, if we stay this course to complete this project, we will require a commitment of local funds. If council wishes not to do that, we do have options that include reimbursing Missouri County HUD for the environmental study that's already been done for this project area, or to develop an alternate project. This is just a continuation, actually, of the 2021 project, and the reason it was submitted to the council for approval is because we were not able to fund the entirety of Walnut and Cedar in 2021. It still has a good portion of asbestos concrete line, and updating this line benefits us in several ways. So we stayed the course. Not quite sure of what the funding was going to do, and it did end up getting cut from 180 down to 165.
And so we roughly,
It's a $41,000 commitment from the city, right? For,
yeah.
Yeah, as of right now, that's based on the total probable cost of opinion, of the engineer of 203. That's the difference between our existing funding and that.
okay,
So we technically don't know till it goes out for bid. Strand is always pretty in the middle with the opinion of probable costs. But before we do anything, I have to have that commitment from council that y'all wish to proceed this way. We do not think it'll exceed that amount, but we wanted to put an amount on the resolution because council doesn't like blank checks, nor the staff, nor the residents.
And if I understand it correctly, 203,000, that includes a 15% contingency, so.
That's correct.
Theoretically, if you don't use all that, you're still, that's like
Stays in the fund
30,000,
balance.
so
Yeah.
there's
you're
a-
roughly 10, anywhere from 10 to 40, I guess you'd say.
There's a possibility it could come in under, the 203,000.
I mean, my opinion is we've really gained some good traction over the last few years on making water improvements throughout the city. I don't really want to lose any of that, and I think $41,000 is a small price to pay in order to get this street up to where it needs to be.
Well, I was hoping y'all would think so. And we do have the added benefit of updating the services. The lead and copper rule is becoming more stringent, and these are older services, probably with quantities of lead that exceed what's allowed today. So we want to update that and get in compliance with the zero lead.
Yeah.
kinda
I
felt
just
the
think
same
in
way.
general, like the infrastructure of the city is a top priority and doesn't need to be placed on the back burner if at all possible. So for me, it's a kind of a no-brainer, yes.
Yeah, I felt the same way. I mean, I kind of looked at it like $40,000. You might as well go ahead and finish what we started, fix it, do it right, because if we don't, 5-10 years, it's going to be
Astronomical.
$150,000.
Yes, sir, I
you know,
agree.
so-
Yeah.
So, yeah, mine was to do the money.
And once we have actual costs, we'll bring it to you for a budget amendment.
Okay.
This is just giving permission for them to move forward at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that was my thought.
You need that whole
Do you
language?
need a motion on that? Or?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna need one.
Do you need that exactly?
Yes, only because it's grant project and sometimes they get
That's fine.
squirrely.
Sticky with it.
I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 2025R96, committing local funds to the Community Development Block Grant Project through Brazoria County Housing and Urban Development for the 2024 Cedar Street Water Main Replacement Project.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Let the record reflect, the motion carries.
Thank you very much.
You might not want to take the copper out of that water, it helps your joints. But take the lead out. Tommy Copper. Moving on to D, discuss and consider approving Resolution 25-R-95 expressing support for a desnagging project for Bastrop Bayou and Oyster Creek, committing local funds to match grant funding and authorizing participation with Brazoria County and other jurisdictions.
Mayor, Council, we met with Brazoria County Engineering to discuss the cost-sharing proposition for desnagging of Bastrop Bayou and Oyster Creek. The county has obtained possible funding for a 75-25 match for this countywide project to desnag both Oyster Creek and Bastrop Bayou. The overall project cost is about $5.5 million, which includes design and construction funding. each local jurisdiction is asked to pay their portion of the match, and our matching portion, as it stands right now, would be about $46,793 and say part of the project. If they don't decide to be a part of the project, our match would go up to roughly, what would I say, 80,000, 90,000. Yeah, $46,000 to $90,000, depending on jurisdictional participation. The funding is split up by mileage that's within our jurisdiction. As most of you know, our jurisdiction with these waterways are split between us and Clute, and us and Lake Jackson, and us and the county. So it is proportional in that percentage. There is a possibility that we could also spend these, or budget this over the next 2 budgets, because we won't not be into the planning phase or engineering phase of this until FY25, and then construction would probably be between 26 and 27. This was last desnagged in 2020. We are thinking that, or hoping that the amount of debris that comes out would be significantly less than we got out last time in 2020. So there are some potential cost savings in there. What we're asking for tonight is verbal approval to let Brazoria County know that we wish to participate in this and that we will provide funding as needed. This is all very preliminary, but I would prefer for us to let Brazoria County know as soon as possible whether we want to do this or not, so we can.
Aside from debris removal, what's the benefit of doing this? Is it any kind of flood mitigation?
Sure, that is a good question, Amanda. So the engineers noticed a significant increase in water flow outbound after they desnagged in 2020, and that's just for normal rainfall.
Okay.
The only impact we've had since then, I believe, was Beryl, and we handled Beryl very well. So I'm assuming at this point Beryl did bring in a lot of debris into our waterways. As Trish pointed out, in her neighborhood, there was a lot of downed trees over there, and that impacts our water flow significantly outbound. So, for what they're asking for our commitment is we can't touch it for that.
So they anticipate doing this roughly every 5 years?
Yeah, I think any longer than that, you run the risk of silt buildup, and it just gets unmanageable. When you finally do it, the cost is going to be prohibitive.
Mm-hmm.
Is it just debris removal, or they actually make it deeper?
No, it's just debris removal, but they actually drag the bottom, so it does help.
Okay. Now, what if, say, we commit, but then Lake Jackson, Clute, and they all say, no, we're not doing it? Are we on the hook for the?
No,
25%?
Lake Jackson.
They just do our portion? Or?
Lake Jackson was at the meeting. They more or less gave a verbal as well. Clute was not at the meeting, and VDD was not at the meeting. I don't, of course, I can't speak for them, but Clute and us are the smaller of the parties, and I don't know what their answer is going to be, but I would assume that the county would pick up our portion.
Well, I just mean, like, so let's say they decide not to. I assume the county's still going to do it, or they?
We don't know yet. We're still in early development of this.
But we're not going to be on the hook for.
No.
Now you got to pay more.
No more than the maximum amount of our percentage.
Okay.
So, like I said, but our percentage is right now split with VDD, and they're the question that we need to know right now. We're working on that. And again, I don't mean to bring this to you without questions being answered.
Sure.
But I wanted to get ahead of the game so we can at least give them a verbal that we're in, and then as it develops, we'll know more. We believe the engineering cost will be significantly less than advertised because it's a rubber stamp project. They've already done it. Same company's going to do it. We believe the debris taken out will be significantly less than 2020. We believe there'll be significant cost savings across the board, we just need to let them know.
So this is the cost of the debris removal and the disposal
Yes,
of
and
whatever they
engineering,
remove.
yes.
And best case scenario is 40-something thousand,
Yes.
worst case is 80-something thousand.
I believe 90, yeah, 90.
Even, may not be a popular opinion, but even at $90,000, I think that's a small price to pay to not flood our city.
Yeah.
If you want a snapshot, right across the bridge from Richwood into Lake Jackson on Cardinal,
I have,
and look to the right or left, and you
Yeah.
can see there's,
It's hydrilla, it's
Yeah.
seasonal, but I would, before we even move forward with this, I would like to see a scope of work, because $90,000 on the high side, that's like 3 boathouses. I could go do this, it's conflict of interest, but $90,000, just, I mean, I understand, I don't want the city to flood. That's a large chunk of money because, it was just trees, and I can discuss this with Eric. I'm all for it, improving drainage, but I know what it costs because I operate on the water. So I would really like to see a breakdown of everything before we say yes to the worst case scenario of $90,000.
Well, so I want to know how much waterway there actually is in the city of Richwood also.
1.3?
And then-
Oh, no, that's, yeah,
2.3?
2.3.
We got Bio Bend and then
2.3
Oyster Creek
miles.
right here.
So, and then all the, like, if you drive on Cardinal, you see, yes, there's a hydrilla, which is seasonal, but then you also see trees that have fallen from
The
people's,
trees are important.
properties, so wouldn't
Sure.
that be theirs? Or
Well, yes and no.
not when,
The
once it's in
property-
the water.
once it's in the water?
Property ownership goes from the front easement to the middle of the waterway. Now, my question is, one, who's gonna enforce it to the middle of the waterway? Two, are you going to rely on the homeowners to
Adhere to that.
adhere to cleaning up just their portion to the middle of the waterway? To make sure it's done at the same time, so this is a continuous project, so it'll be done all at once. Yeah, as far as what you're asking, as far as price-wise, because this is grant funding, it's gonna be the cheapest bid.
It will be.
So we can,
I just want to see a scope of work is all, because last time, so the only reason I bring a stink about this is because I've done several bulkheads, and these landowners, and yes, it's in Oakwood Shores, they had some oak trees that were cut down, and they didn't ask for them to be cut down. That's why people bought that land out there. So I would just like to see what they are proposing to do at their current price. That's the only thing I'm asking. Hydrilla, I'm not worried about that. That will flow out with a good rain, good high tide, but
Mayor and Council, I didn't sign up, but question came to mind for me is, we saw the presentation after 2020. There was a lot cleaned out. Do we know the previous, before 2020, when it was last done? That'd be my question back to county, see what kind of data.
when was it done prior to the
Yeah.
last one? Yeah,
I agree.
That'd be a question I think would be.
sure, I
There's
can
a
get
big
that.
difference between 40 and 90 for our portion, and I'd really be questioning, as a taxpayer to Velasco Drainage District, if they were to say no, why they would say no.
yeah.
Sure.
So what's best for the city? Yes, sir.
Just real quick, I don't know what the date was, but the time before 2020 was a huge project, hadn't been done in many years, because it was, I mean, it was almost clogged down with debris coming out of there. It was, I think it was like 2010 maybe, but before that, it hadn't been done probably a decade. It will get out of control very quickly.
We'll find
It
out.
can, yes. It is vital for the city to have proper drainage, yes. I just want to make sure our funds are allocated properly for this project, because I know what it costs to operate this type of machinery. I have it all. I would love to do it for the city, but unfortunately I can't.
So I just think it's an awful lot of money for such a small, and I understand the drainage, but I mean, you got here when you get a good, and correct me if I'm wrong, an east wind or whatever, and I mean, it blows all the water out. So,
West
I
Wind,
mean-
yes, sir.
Okay, I'm sorry. So, and I mean, I spend enough time on the water. I think you do every once in a while. Eric, you do as well.
Oh, you know.
So, I mean, we've had a lot of recent wind.
One interesting point, and I think it's valid for all of us, so, a neighbor here nearby had one tree taken out of his yard. That was huge. That was $4,900 for one tree. They're doing 2.6 miles. So one tree was $4,900. That was his cheapest bid. It was huge, it was big oak. But, so in relativity,
Yeah.
you're talking waterborne barges, you're talking about transfer material from barge to truck, you're talking about dragging, you're talking about exponentially more expensive than a land-based tree removal. That was one tree. So I was like shocked, and then I thought about this project and went, that's not bad. Comparatively,
I'm in the wrong business.
Yep,
Who wants the
Tell
job?
them, are we able to say like, hey, yeah, we're interested in it, but,
sure.
I mean,
But do we have to give them an answer?
We
this
don't
month?
have to,
No,
like-
we don't have to give them an answer this month. I just want to get ahead of it
I get that.
and
It's
get
perfect.
this, let them know that we're interested in
I'm
doing
very
this.
interested.
I'd like to see the scope and the breakdown, what each city pays.
Sure. Included in your packet is the breakdown of what each city pays. And it shows,
oh, we didn't have it back for the.
yeah, it shows what each city pays per percentage. So like most of ours is gonna be 25%
Yeah, I'm
with
trying to figure out what.
Clute or Lake Jackson, and then Glasgow 50%.
Angleton not participating? Because my old address
Yes.
was Angleton.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, that was county though.
Yeah, there's the breakdown, and ours is at the very right side, Kirsten, I believe.
So if we say, hey, yeah, we're interested in it, are they gonna?
Where?
Missouri County's.
RI,
The $16,000 number?
keep going to the right,
Are they double that?
right there,
All right, okay.
just to the left of the red one, that's us. So if you look down at the other portions,
Oh,
there's
I see.
significantly more than ours.
Oh, yeah. So how, I know we had asked more, but I met with Cliff at the park the other day at Bobby Ford Park, and across is Lake Jackson, correct?
Mhm.
So is Lake Jackson being charged for those trees on that side?
Mhm.
Right.
And anything on our side is what they're proposing to charge us?
Mhm.
It's being
Okay.
split between the two cities.
20, 25, 25, and 50, so that
So-
breakdown.
In my line of work, the GLO is a regulating entity, unless you're commercial, which is Corps of Engineers. And anything that comes off of your property is your responsibility. So technically, if any one of y'all were to have a boat and went down there and hit that tree, that property owner is responsible for your damages. So it's hard for me to swallow this, because I do this every day. If a pier is not regulated, you can run into that pier, and that homeowner is responsible, because they didn't do their due diligence.
And there's another chart below that, Kirsten. One of them's Bastrop Bayou and the other one's,
Yeah, I don't know
Oyster
if I
Creek
could
will be
get
the
that
main
one
of
to,
this,
Yeah.
wouldn't it?
like, be able to see clearly.
There were a lot more trees over there that I saw with Cliff that were, you know,
Oyster Creek would probably have more trees. Bastrop, I would figure you would get more debris coming in from the Gulf, because it kinda opens up. to-
they're not gonna mess with it, right?
Yeah.
Any new.
and I can print these for you guys, because these are all legal size documents, they don't PDF well.
I say let's check out the scope of work, and then
Each entity.
We can do
Does
that.
that go all the way up to that canal above Angleton that feeds into Oyster Creek? You know, it goes east to west, and there's like a big silt buildup, and that,
off 220? No,
no, it's further north.
Looks like it's gonna go all the way up to.
Do you know what I'm talking about, Eric?
Yeah, that's the map right there. So that's
It goes
Angleton,
all the way up to the reservoir, doesn't it?
yeah, just north
that's what
of
looks
it.
like, all the way to Harris.
Holiday Lakes is in,
Harris
Yeah.
Reservoir?
yeah.
I'll have to find the map of that canal, because that canal had typically flowed to Oyster Creek and had a big silt deposit. And then during Harvey, that silt deposit kind of made like a dam on Oyster Creek, and that allowed Oyster Creek to bust out and flood towards Bastrop easier.
Right.
I'll have to-
Right
But I
there.
think it got cleaned out last time.
Yes, sir, it did. There was a lot of debris. They were saying it was so thick at that point that you could walk across the creek.
So is that gonna get done again?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
With this,
Yes,
with this
sir.
scope?
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that was at, like,
So where is
around
it?
220.
It's-
Yes.
That area.
Above Angleton, it's a canal that runs. east to west and hits Oyster Creek.
Say Bridge, we just need to see the numbers.
Yeah.
Sure.
Just more information.
I don't know if it's that far up, but it's
So
up
we can
there.
motion to table this?
Yeah.
But it made like a big silt.
Amanda, you've been on a roll tonight. You want to make a motion?
Sure, I'll make a motion to table item D until we get further information about cost breakdown and
South Angle.
what each city is, what portion each city is gonna be required to pay.
That's up there. We do have that. We just need the scope.
Okay, sorry,
It's all right.
That's fine.
just the work
Motion to
scope.
table.
Second?
Second.
Okay, let the record reflect the motion carries. Thank you, guys.
We didn't vote.
Thank you for at least letting us know this earlier.
No problem.
I'd like to know more. Items removed from consent agenda were 0, correct?
Right.
Okay, moving on to capital improvements projects update. Oh, you took a sip, it's gonna be long.
What's in that cup?
Huh?
Just kidding.
Oh, good juice.
Yeah, one.
So our ARPA project has concluded. The last punch list item that remains is getting hard copies of the O&M manuals to the city. Everything's concluded, last payments were sent off last week. The Mint-Mod project, construction is ongoing. Storm sewer and storm sewer structures are nearly complete, I'd say probably about 75%. We have one single change order with that project that was just increasing the concrete profile from 6 to 7 inch because we had the extra grant funds and we didn't want to give it back. So we just made a hardier project there with the street.
Is it getting any better with the disruption to the residents that live down those streets? I know there was some concern several weeks ago.
No, not really.
Oh, okay,
Unfortunately, it's not. And it's not, I'm not gonna attribute that to Matula. It's just the nature of the project.
Yeah.
2 of those streets are dead-end streets, and it's a mess.
yep,
So, yeah, it's, but we are working with residents. There are only a handful, maybe 2 to 4, that are
okay,
having consistent issues that we address as they come up. So we're doing our best.
okay. I just want to make sure we have a good communication flow going with them.
We do.
Okay,
I feel we do.
okay.
Of course, Cypress Drive Misty Court awarded this evening. We'll find out more about that, about pre-con meetings and notice to proceed and everything else in the coming weeks. We're hoping to have that project closed out by October 1st. That's our goal. We'll see how it goes. Streets Master Plan, draft technical memorandum has been drafted and cost opinions have been prepared. Next step are just to include budgeting and potential financing options for improvements. Nobody's committing to anything. For improvements that they note while developing the plan. The Parks Master Plan, the contract execution notice to proceed is anticipated in May. That we've held back on that just to make sure funding was okay. We're still waiting on the last payment, just so everybody feels better about life from FEMA. Then we're going to proceed with that. The on-call engineering services, the samples for ammonia were taken, were pulled and sent to the lab. We got the results back and we received back some recommendations from Strand, how to adjust these wells. You'll remember the conversation that we have the residual falling out. We think we have some adjustments we can make without adding ammonia to the system. That was just executed today. Once the adjustments are made, we're going to put everything in automatic, including the well number 7 at Oakwood Shores. And we're going to let it run for about a week and see what we come up with. Ultimately, it is Strand's opinion that we are encountering something in distribution that's making that residual drop. I think the only reason they say that we're able to maintain a 3-to-1, 4-to-1, or 5-to-1 ratio of chlorine to ammonia within our system. So there's nothing out of whack on our treatment per se.
What do they say is causing it again? What's causing the drop?
They
Or
think
they're
it's
still-
something within distribution. A lot of times when you disinfect with chloramines, because it contains ammonia,
Yeah.
in certain portions in distribution, you can have an ammonia buildup. If you have ammonia buildup, it can be breeding grounds of bacteria. The bacteria, bacteria kills anybody, bacteria, and it eats up the chlorine. The chlorine reacts with it, and it will reduce that residual. They're thinking it could be something like that. So once we make these adjustments and see what happens within distribution, we can then start pinpointing where those residuals start to drop off.
Do they have like a plan of action if that's the case? Do you have to?
Yeah, flushing,
Flush-
lots of
flushing.
flushing, overnight, weekend, because it's gotta be massive amounts of water. So it's gonna be out of 5 1/4 quart of the hydrant, it's not gonna be the 2-inch that we generally do
Right.
out in Oakwood Shores. But the water that's coming from the North Water Plant has to go down 2004, that's where it's coming from. So they think as it moves, it's hitting something and decreasing that residual. But it's not the treatment process itself at this time. The alternative or alternate capacity requirement that they're looking at with on-call engineering as well. We are waiting till August. The data that we submitted to see if we can have an alternate capacity aside the 0.6 gallons per minute. We had some really high use days in '22, exceeding $1 million, 1 million gallons in a 24-hour period.
Always got money in mind.
About money. So what it is when you submit data for that, you only have to have 3 years. If we wait a couple of months, that data will fall off. We can't explain what the anomaly was, but if it falls off, we have a much better chance of getting a capacity of maybe somewhere around 0.4 gallons per minute. Something like that would allow council some breathing room before we have to initiate purchase of additional water from BWA or drilling an additional well or something like that. So when we get that submitted and I have motion on that, I'll let y'all know. And that's all I got.
That's it?
That's it.
How many more millions?
One right now.
Have y'all heard? I noticed there was a post on our page. I didn't know. Have y'all heard from the residents? Have they reached out about with all the on the Mid-Lot project about the driveways and all that stuff? I know a lot of people just
I had one call.
may not see it, but if you just wanted to kind of bring it up and make a note, go to the page. There's the information you can find about how to reach out and who to reach out to.
Yeah, we dealt with that, what, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, well, and council should know that we're putting out regular notice. Every big action they take on that project, we do door hangers and delivered notice to everybody affected. So we try to keep them notified when anything big is coming up.
Gotcha.
The good thing is we're almost down to demolition of the streets. That's the last thing. So our anticipated substantial completion date is still the end of September. So we're ahead of schedule. We still got, tearing out streets, it's a long time.
Weather.
Yeah, as long as the weather holds up.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Sir.
Moving on to city manager's report.
Mayor, council, nothing's changed since the city manager's report on Friday. If you have any questions, be glad to answer them.
Short and sweet. Okay. Councilmember Stallberg, do you have anything you wish to add?
Thanks to the people that came out and voted, a few of them. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Trish.
Councilman Johnson, Councilwoman Reynolds, Councilman Fountain for, I guess, answering the call, if you want to call it that. And thank y'all for, oh, and the mayor too, yeah, sorry. Thanks. I forgot about him. No, thank y'all. It's, may not seem like a lot, but in this year that I've been here, it's definitely been eye-opening, and it's like, yeah. So thank y'all. Chief,
That way,
thank y'all.
the numbers.
You know, I'm kind of partial to y'all anyway. Thank y'all for all the hard work y'all do. And your hot sauce is very good.
I wouldn't know.
Hotter weather coming.
Yes,
So
sir.
everybody prepare for that. Take care of your pets and all that stuff outside, and that's all I got.
Thank you, sir. Councilmember Johnson.
It's good to be back and appreciate all the voter turnout. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Councilmember Reynolds.
I'll echo that. It's nice to be back for a second term. It's nice to have Mike back on council. I think we have a good group and can do some good things for the city moving forward. Also to echo a little bit of what they said, it's about to get very hot. I know we have a backyard vegetable garden and there's been multiple snakes around, they're harmless. I leave them alone. You don't have to kill every snake out there. There's lots of good snakes, but just be careful.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome.
Councilmember Yerson. No, he's not here. Councilmember Fountain.
Just again, congratulations to those that, that won in the election and are serving again. I'll say I thank you to Mike Challenger for his time on the city council. He chose not to run again, but thank you for the time that he served. Other than that, y'all kind of stole my thunder. I was going to say it's my safety thing for the month is hydration. So it's getting hot. Make sure you talk with the city workers and things of that nature, or with our with the police as well as the maintenance crew. When you're out and about, make sure you're drinking plenty of water, have everything ready to go, because it's going to get hot quick. So, and I know I saw you did the. I've already started the hurricane preparedness, so that's starting up. So.
Yes, he did.
So that's pretty much it.
Thank you, sir. I know Mr. Forrester wanted to add something.
Yeah, I have one comment. I'd like to thank Trish for getting back for the meeting 5 hours ago. She was in Washington, D.C.
Oh, my.
Apparently, by the looks of her ankle, she ran all the way back. I don't know, but we do appreciate your efforts to get back for the meeting, and thank you very much.
Well, thank you.
Tough leaving my grandbaby.
You could have brought your grandbaby.
Yeah, planes go both ways. Planes go both ways, Trish. But thank you.
Thank you, guys. I'd like to start off by thanking our past council. Thank you for Mr. Challenger for stepping up. Thank you to our new council. Last week we had National Municipal Clerks Week.
Yeah.
So Ms. Kirsten was the bright and shining star of that. Everybody needs to give her a round of applause.
Thank you.
So thank you. This week we recognize the police. Thank you guys for your tireless efforts, just like fire. You guys. You guys are awesome, both departments. Eric and Kirsten and the rest of city staff, thank you for keeping an open line of communication. I really appreciate that. Mr. Johnson and Ms. Reynolds, thank y'all for stepping up, like I said. I want to thank my family for showing up for the swearing in and Judge Blahnik. I know Kirsten wanted to do it, but they played thumb war and Judge Blahnik won,
That's
so
fine.
he's going to win in every circumstance right now. I also wanted to say happy belated Mother's Day to all you mothers out there. It wasn't recognized last time, so happy Mother's Day. I know I'm a day late, but we didn't have a meeting yesterday. Last but not least, I want to wish my wife a happy birthday. Her birthday's tomorrow. Happy 21st birthday, babe. You look great for 21. That's all I have to add. Do we have any items of community interest?
I don't. This was such a busy month leading up to this. We don't have anything going on, I don't think, till after the next one. We'll be planning for
I think
All-American Night, hopefully.
Yeah, All-American Night, and watch for hurricane memos and preparedness, and lots of communications will start coming out on the website and via other avenues, so.
Sure, and sign up for our alerts. If you're not signed up for citywide alerts, please do that now. Go to our homepage, you can find it on social media. You will not know what's going on if you're not signed up, or on Facebook.
I did see, our recycle bins, the two at the park. I saw a few mattresses in there. I'm proud of them.
You did not, you liar.
Somebody was digging them out.
They're trying to want us to add another one, but
Scrap
I'm
metal's
holding it
high
off.
right now. Do we have any future agenda items? Other
July
than
4th.
our project from the
Somewhere
county?
around there.
Okay.
That week.
It's whatever. that-
Fire, thank you guys for
Saturday,
being here.
Friday is, I think.
It really is a pleasure seeing you guys.
So it'll probably
Okay.
be Saturday.
Time is now 7:14. With no other business to discuss, this meeting's adjourned.